All right, traders, watch this video for Tuesday, January 22nd, Monday, obviously a holiday. So we've got a shortened work week, but here's what we're looking at. The SPY, after really looking like the end of the world back here, look at that. Who would have thought over the next few weeks, we would almost well, that's not fair to say almost completely retrace, but certainly grinding higher and working away at that big sell-off. So what am I watching for Tuesday? OSTK, really nice volume on Friday, and it's still in this range down here, but this volume is going to catch some people's attention. I believe there's a lot of shorts in the name, and when I go to 5-minute candles, you can kind of see it wasn't all day volume. It was volume that happened in the afternoon. Absolutely worth watching. On Tuesday, HEAR, also some unusual volume on Friday. Kind of closing in the middle of its range though, and I don't know, it looks like it went up pretty close to touching the 200-day before giving a lot of it back. Here it is on the intraday. Pretty nice pop there. I don't know, that was probably a block trade right there. I don't know, but I don't know. Closing maybe in the upper half of its range. You can kind of picture a trend line. If you follow my mouse here, this is a trend line, and it's kind of probably hitting it or maybe hit it on Friday. I don't know. I'm not in love with it, but it can be a tricky trader, but that volume might catch some attention. If we can get a low risk setup, I'll be making a call on it on Tuesday. APRN, I like the fact that this big volume popped up to $1.55 a couple sessions ago, pulled back and is kind of right back up. So certainly goes on long watch. Great volume lately in it. RESN, kind of a sleeper pick because this big volume day 4 days ago was still barely over 1 million shares. Then the next day it topped out at 275. Looked like it was rolling over, but then kind of right back up. So I do think it's worth watching. MRIN, this huge move back here and then kind of settled into this range sideways. Tried to break out of it on Thursday. Then Friday, kind of quiet volume, retracing a little bit, maybe retesting this breakout area. I still want to watch this one. SAEX, anytime you get 12 million shares in a day, this kind of high relative volume, and it topped out after, 3-day run of 660, and you could kind of argue that it's flagging now. It topped out on Friday at 519, settling way down at 410 though. Let's look at it on 15s real quick. Try to pan out a little bit. So there's the big move, and then right now we've basically got what I would just say a lower high that occurred on Friday. And this one could very easily just keep going lower and never revisit these highs. So that's why I'm not an investor. I don't like to buy and guess and hope into the weekend that for some reason this runs on Tuesday. That's why I start with a list of stocks. And then if they meet my intraday parameters, I'll get involved, but I'll be back in cash by the closing bell. That way, when you're doing things right, you don't have stocks whittling away at you while you're day trading, and other stocks that you held overnight are kicking your butt. So I'm always trying to be green every day, build the account higher every day. This is worth watching though, just because of this recent volume. Now you've got a 660 recent high, and then on Friday a lower high of 519. I don't know. If oil gets going, which I use USO to kind of gauge it. And it did kind of pop up here and go sideways for about a week, and now it's breaking out to the upside. So if oil gets some big rally, I typed that wrong, SAEX, then people might say, oh, SAEX could go again. So, I want to keep it on my radar just for that reason. And if nothing else, I can't talk today. MBOT had this massive move. Nobody thinks this should have gone to 1940. And it's had nothing but red days ever since. It has not met any entry parameters for me, but I still think this, because of this massive volume, because of this massive move, obviously shorts were smart to jump on this thing, and they're still pushing it lower, and I've seen things like this just completely retrace and keep going lower. So right now I have no bias on it other than if this thing meets my intraday parameters, we could get a nice little mini short squeeze. But overall, if I had to pick a direction, it still looks kind of ugly to me, right? For a potential long, it looks ugly. Let's go to 15-minute candles. I'll kind of show you what I'm looking at. After this huge move, the very next day, it topped out in the opening 15 minutes worth of trading at 1374. Then the next day, again, topped out in the opening 15 minutes, and again on Friday. So what I'd like to see is a somewhat narrow range, right? Somewhat narrow range on Tuesday, and then maybe an upside break out of a range in the afternoon. That's the most powerful scenario for a squeeze that I can think of. And the beauty of being a day trader is if it doesn't meet my parameters, I just won't be trading it, right? So it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart. And then lastly, I got kind of a sleeper pick here, CODX. It's been getting nice volume, nice relative volume, lately, right? Big pop here. Looked like it was rolling back over. And another big pop on Friday. If I go to 5-minute candles, you can kind of see where the volume came in. Whoops. So there it is on 60s. Just right now a series of lower highs, but I do like the volume. I think this one could be a sleeper pick. I got to tell you, I'm not in love with this list. I really struggled to find enough stocks to even build a list, which is weird because the market's so strong. But anyway, we'll add some gappers to this list in the pre-market on Tuesday. And between these and the gappers we find, there should be plenty to trade. All right, I'm done battling. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see everybody on Tuesday.